As Stress Awareness Month begins, experts are taking a closer look at how mental health impacts body image. Dr. Rachel Goldman says many people fall into a cycle where stress leads to negative self-talk and restrictive habits. And this morning, we're getting more insight on that. Dr. Goldman is joining us now with tips to build awareness and break the cycle. And I think, a lot of us are under stress, but how does the stress then impact your body image? I've never really made that correlation, but it's very real.
It is very real, and it's important that we're talking about it because a lot of people don't realize that. So the mind-body connection is real. The things that we're telling ourselves impact our body and vice versa. They're sending signals to each other. So if we wake up feeling stressed or have a stressful day and then we look in the mirror, that stress is going to be impacting the way we see ourselves. We're actually be looking at ourselves through a stress lens instead of through the real lens of what we're actually feeling and experiencing.
So how do we break this cycle? Yeah. I know it sounds easy enough, but that's probably the loaded and probably the most impactful part of this conversation. How do you break that cycle?
Well, and you're right, it's not easy, and it takes practice, and the first thing is acknowledging and awareness, right? But the first thing we can do is kind of pause and turn inward. So if we can pause and identify, like, what's going on right now? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Oh, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling emotional, I'm feeling anxious. Then we can identify that and put a label to the emotion, and then we can be more aware that since our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all linked, we can have that awareness that, okay, the way that I'm feeling is going to impact my thoughts, so the way I see myself, the way I talk to myself, and that's going to impact the next thing. So first pause, check in with ourselves, label that emotion, and then be aware that this is going to impact how we kind of see ourselves for the rest of the day.
So even if you're able to do that, I think some of us still suffer from maybe guilt, right? I feel guilty that I'm even feeling like this. I feel guilty that I can't be all to everyone I'm supposed to be all to.
Right. We got to drop that.
Yeah, but how do you quieten that voice? That's what I'm trying to get at. And I know it's hard.
Right.
So are there any steps you take every day to get to that point?
Yeah. So in cognitive behavior therapy, which is the type of therapy that I do, one of the skills is to examine the evidence. Okay. So that's a thought that we have, like, I feel guilty to do this, I should be doing more. These are all unhelpful thoughts. And if we can identify that they're unhelpful because they don't make us feel good, we can then examine the evidence and be like, okay, where's the evidence that I'm not doing enough? Where's the evidence that I should be feeling guilty for this or that? Usually when we take that pause and examine the evidence, we realize it's just a thought. Thoughts are not facts. But in the moment, they feel so real.
They do. And so are there any triggers to, like, this negative self-talk? Are there anything that we should really look for and nip it at the bud, if you will?
Yeah, so we need to know ourselves first, right? But one thing that really comes up is social comparison, right? We're on social media, we're scrolling, we're comparing ourselves to everybody else, and we really need to just identify what's going on with me. So if you're already in a low, say, body image place or having a bad day, don't go on social media right now. Kind of pause and again, like, focus on what you really need right now.
How, I know you say love yourself, right? And that's also loaded. What's the tangible first step to take, saying, I'm going to stop being so harsh on me? Yeah. I'm going to try to love myself. I'm not going to speak negatively about myself. Is it simply looking in the mirror and saying that, or is there something else you should do?
So actually, I think the first thing is to decrease the expectation and pressure that we need to be loving ourselves all the time.
Oh, I like that.
Right? So there's this big expectation that I should love myself all the time, but that's actually quite unrealistic. So instead, what we can do is just be kinder to ourselves. And a way to do that is actually to identify things that our body does for us. Instead of focusing on appearance, we can ask, or like kind of identify things like, well, I love my legs because they allowed me to walk here today, right? I love my arms because they allow me to hug my children. So if we take the focus off of appearance, it becomes more realistic for us.
In our last 30 seconds, how do you want people to consume this book, When Life Happens?
Yeah, so there's actually an entire chapter dedicated to body image because it really all comes back to our thoughts. My book comes out this Tuesday. It is available everywhere or at whenlifehappensbook.com.
Okay, this is Dr. Rachel Goldman, and the book is When Life Happens. Just love yourself more. That's the bottom line. It can happen in incremental steps. It doesn't have to be a wholesale thing all at once. Baby steps to loving yourself. This is the information on your screen where to find Dr. Rachel Goldman, and, of course, how to get her book. We appreciate you this morning. Thank you so much. Right.